Okay, so how's everybody doing? So what I want to do is just give you a quick sort of bench work summary moving forward here because I'm sort of in the middle of completing the four-part series of the slum landlord build scene. And I just want to give you a quick overview. Like this is section one, as most of you know by now. And then we move in into this curve, we go into section two. This is just from a higher up perspective. Maybe you haven't seen. There's where I'm at right now. There's a couple of years work here. So I'll just pan back again and then I'll make another pass and I'll just explain to you and show you some pics. Just some quick pics and maybe some short video clips of how I did the bench work. Like notice how it's got the letterbox, shadow box sort of diorama sort of feel to it. Like that was always what I intended to do. Now the valance, the upper valance here is what I call valance, and there's the lower fascia, are both painted dark olive green. Okay. The backdrop is very, very light blue. Okay. And when I put the backdrop in, it just floats back there. I can show you a few pics, and I scarf jointed the seams so that I can pull the backdrop out if I want. So they're not sealed, so I don't have these big long sheets that I have to butcher. As I mentioned before, I don't want no Sawzall to touch this layout if I ever have to move it. Okay, so the corners, you see how the corners are curved, right? So what I did there was I just basically built like light framework. Like let me just jump down here and I'll just show you the upper, like the bottom framework, like where this water section is here. Like this is only 2.5 inches deep, right? So it's 2.5 inches by 3/4 inch. But this is laminated red oak. But the framework is actually just really simple. 2-foot centers, just like the upper valance, see? That's all it is. And then it's cleated to the wall, and there's no vertical posts on the whole layout. There's just one or two of, you can't see them now because it's too dark under there, but they're just, like it's cantilevered. The whole, just let me, this camera wants to walk away on me, sorry. The whole layout is cantilevered, like there's no posts holding it up, and there's cables on the top valance that supports the lightweight curved valance for the lighting hood. And as I mentioned earlier, like eventually I'm going to lower this. I'm just going to tack on a deeper valance so that you don't see any of the ceiling rafters or whatever, but that's much later in the build. So yeah, so it's basically all just cut, ripped plywood, and then the actual curvature here on the fascia is not hard to do. It really isn't. You just build rectangular benchwork and then you block out, and you just take one thin strip, long 8-foot strip, and you just clamp it in place and then just eyeball the curve in and then glue 2 or 3 layers with clamps. Okay, that's how I did that. And then I just sheeted the top to the curve. Like once the curve was all open, and then I laid the sheet on it, I just took a router basically, or a jigsaw, and I just sawed it so that it was perfectly matched the curve, and then sanded it and sealed it so it's got a really nice finish. You know, there's something about curved benchwork. There's an elegance to it. It's easy to look at. It's easy on the eyes, and it's super strong. When you laminate curved fascia into benchwork, like it brings the rigidness of the whole layout up probably tenfold. Okay, so it's lightweight, very strong, and I can climb up on it. That's probably Like I believe the bench work I mentioned was 57 inches high, I think. I build everything sort of modular so I can pull it down and work on the bench down below, which is underneath the layout. Which is another advantage to thin bench work. You have all the headspace underneath for storage and lighting, etc. So you can see where I'm at now. I'm starting to plan the IPEX plastics. Okay, but right now I'm just finishing up the content for the slum landlord bill on the left. So it's been a sort of unfolding. This whole build has been basically like a journey and a story that began down here on this end, and just lots of content because everything's pretty much scratch built. I've covered just about everything on this whole build, and I've just been unfolding it as I go along. And I'll just close with showing you just some clips of this bench work and how the joinery kind of works. Okay. And then there's the open joinery down on this end, which I haven't framed in yet, which might shed a little light on how I join the bench work. Like there's a scarf joint right here. You can't see it because it's scarfed. And it's attached to, see if I can get the camera to cooperate here. You can see how there's 2 3/4 inch slabs in here, right? See the wax paper in between, parchment paper? That's so that when I sheet this top, but none of this gets glued. This isn't tacked down yet, but it won't be joined to this. So the whole piece separates. There's 3 bolts under this stromback that pulls the 2 benches together. And then this wax paper, parchment paper, has been laid in and then bolted tight. So if any matte medium or glue gets down in, I'll still be able to pop the seam. There might be a few stickies, but I've done it before. It'll pop easily enough. And then the track work, you'll have to zip cut that with a Dremel or put joinery in here to make that part convenient. But you don't have to worry about that at first because you can cut it later if you have to move and rejoin it later, especially if you've hand laid the track. So speaking of track, here's the track plan. It's nothing fancy. It's just a schematic and it's been revised a few times. Okay. And you can see it there on the left, where down below in the left corner where the brewery stub is, and then the barge slip, and then the spur on the top left corner to the warehouse, and then section 2, right? And then the 2 spurs going to IPEX plastic, which are more of tangent track, not curved like that. And so there's 3 runarounds on this whole layout, which is kind of nice. I like the way it works because I can actually switch out the barge slip without fouling the top block where the main is if somebody was switching the brewery or the warehouse or even IPEX plastic. So 2 operators can work on this, and you can bring staging or bridge traffic in on the barge slip on the left stub, because the barge is a stub, and then on the right there'll be 2 stubs there, and then further expansion beyond that. So that's River Road framework and sort of track layout in a nutshell for you. For those of you that are just coming new to the channel and you're wondering the direction in which River Road is going, and I've been quite committed to trying to cover the whole build and to share just methodology and maybe try to explain the reasons why I do it. Not to say that this is the way to do it, but it's just the way I do it and the way I've evolved it over the years. So Thanks once again for all your support. Thank you for all my subscribers, the ones from the original, from Glover Road, that have been with the channel all along, and all the new subscribers that have come in recently. Welcome to River Road. Thank you for your support, and I hope to be able to provide rich and interesting content for you in this wonderful hobby that we all share. Okay, so happy modeling. Cheers, and I hope you have a great day.